Hiya folks, you're very welcome along to this week's episode of John's Garage. This week we are driving something different from a premium brand. So this is a relatively new brand available in the Irish market. It is a DS7 Sportback, and this particular one is the E-Tense 4x4 hybrid model. Okay, it's also a performance line model, so it's a little bit more sprinkled on with a few more features. Okay, now first of all, to say this is the DS brand, which is the premium level brand from Stellantis. All right, so this is really the top level. This is designed and built to compete with the, I suppose, the premium offerings from Germany, the usual suspects from Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and so on and so forth. But I would say it's not a direct competitor for them. DS has decided to go its own way with its own Gallic charm and stylistic features, and to do something a little bit different here in this class, while also combine it into a body style, which, despite what I suppose car enthusiasts might feel at the minute, it is something that sells, and a company is there to make a profit. So I'm not going to comment on SUVs and crossovers and stuff like that as to which is the best, which is the worst, stuff like that. It's a crossover. Get over it. Okay, it doesn't even try and hide it. It calls itself a crossback, for God's sake. Anyway, what do I think of this car? Well, first of all, what I think is that my sound broke on the day. Anyway, we're back to normal. We have sound again. But what do I really think about the car? It is packed, jam-packed, full of lovely, lovely features. Interior-wise, loads of comfort, great adjustment on the seat. Found the base nice and supportive. A little bit of the side bolstering, I'd say, was maybe missing, but it was nice and soft, nice and comfortable. And of course, there was this beautiful Alcantara trim everywhere on the seats, on the dashboard, some lovely leather used in there as well. And I'd say the quality of the plastics was quite good. Now, one of the things I really liked about this car is that it wasn't a parts bin special, okay? There was a lot of, I suppose, bespoke parts to this, the window switches, the steering wheel controls, the radio controls. Again, there's a huge amount of different features here, which you don't find across all the Peugeot range. Of course, the gear stick is common enough as well, and a few other bits and pieces in there as well. I did find the interior a little bit dark to my liking, but I think most people seem to like the darker interior on a modern car, so that's probably just me more so than anything wrong with the car. One thing I did like is that center storage bin. It's huge. Literally, I could shove my arm down in there up to my shoulder, and that was that. Now, this is a beautiful feature. Keep an eye on this. See the lights? See the way they're all spinning around? They do their little flashy thing. And that kind of gives you an indication what this car is like. It's all about just little touches, little nice touches, and the sparkles and stuff like that. Now, there is actually a link back to the original DS here, which had rotating headlamps to help you see around corners. And of course, the DS does that also, but it just does this little startup feature, which I just thought was neat. I just really wanted to show it to you guys. But of course, there is a lot of stylistic touches to the car, that just being one of them, okay? Now, to drive, what was it like? So this is the hybrid model. There is the usual 1.6 litre turbocharged engine up front, which would be familiar to fans of the 308 GTI. And in the rear, there is an electric motor, and combined, they give you 300 horsepower. So this car is no slouch, I suppose, is probably the best way I can explain it. It's well able to get up, it's well able to go, and it's well able to, I suppose, do the overtaking maneuvers that you would so wish. Now, when it comes to economy, so given all that power, it is actually still a very economical car. During my time with the car, and I suppose mileage that had been built up previously by previous drivers, this car returned 3.4 litres per 100 kilometres, which, considering it's 300 horsepower, it's petrol, I thought that was pretty respectable. It is also a plug-in hybrid. I forgot to mention that earlier. It's a plug-in hybrid model, which means you can plug it in, have it fully charged and ready to go in the morning. And I'd say the realistic real-world range when that is done is about 50 kilometers, which is pretty respectable. And I would argue that most people's journey is below 50 kilometers. Now, there's good space in the rear. There's good access, nice wide opening doors, nice and comfortable. Center armrest comes down if it's people you're carrying. Obviously, you'll be carrying people in the back. But if child seats are there also, there's loads of space for loading them in and out. I didn't show it in the video, but mainly because the video broke. But I did actually have my son's child seat, and I threw it in just to see what the space was like. And it was really easy to get it in. Now, good ISOFIX mounting points as well, if you're into that sort of thing. And of course, we're here more as an enthusiast channel. Don't mind that video. I don't know why that's not playing. But anyway, keep going. So, what else did I like about this car? Well, it's a bit of a car with split personality. which was nice in a way. So driving along in hybrid mode, it's nice and economical, lovely and comfortable, gets to where you want to go with lots of, I suppose, comfort and style. But there is a switch there in the dashboard which you can flick around through the different modes. One of the modes is electric mode, which is fine. That does what it says in the tin. The other mode, which I really liked, was the sport mode. And this car is actually quite a nice little drive if you press that button. So the dampers firm up, the suspension tightens up, steering tightens up, the throttle responses really sharpen up, and this car can shift, this car can go. Now, it's not like the 508 PSE, it's not as manic as that, but it certainly can go. The only thing I would say that I found in relation to this car when you press that button was, because the suspension firmed up, I did feel on the roads I was driving it got a little bit bouncy. Okay, it firmed up maybe a little bit too much. Having said that, when I was out in the motorway and driving it, it really felt taut. It felt great. So that's just something to bear in mind with that. It does certainly have an effect on the car though, which is great to see. Now, one of the other things I would say about this particular car, and which a lot of people are going to say is, would I buy a French premium executive car? And in the case of this, I actually wouldn't be afraid of, a lot of French cars in the past, especially when it gets to the executive level, they're packed full of kit. They're terrifying to own because you're just waiting for something to go wrong. But in the case of the Citroen, the DS7, I should say, the DS7 is pretty straightforward. There's nothing here that's unusual across the Stellantis range. The engine, the powertrain, the options, it's all common enough. So it should be easy enough long term to get parts for these cars and to keep them running on the road insofar as that can possibly be done. Okay, now, there is a huge amount of technology in the car, which I suppose we have to accept as well, can go wrong. But generally speaking, hybrid powertrains don't go wrong, which is a good thing about them. Loads of space up front as well for any other passengers as well. And of course, they've that lovely big screen there and lots of different options on it. Now, what else would I say in relation to this car? Well, the last thing I really want to say is this car is actually for sale and is available for delivery right now. So I contacted Slattery's Garage in Puckane. I saw it on their website, slatterysgarage.ie. Spotted up there and said, hey, you know what? An E-Tense 4x4 DS7 is nice and unusual. I'd love to feature it on the channel. These cars retail for over €60,000 new, but this car is on Slattery's website for a lot closer to 50,000. Okay, and as I said, it's low mileage. I've driven it. There's absolutely no squeaks and rattles in it. And of course, Slattery's is an award-winning garage with over 50 years of family experience of selling the Peugeot range and other Stellantis products as well. So you're getting that backup as well and certainty that the garage is going to be there long term, and it's also committed to the brand. So with that, that's my time done with the DS7. Sorry about the noise issues this week, folks. Well, there's no noise issues, but I had to, I suppose, dub it over. Anyway, lovely car, lovely and unusual, and that's why I wanted it on the channel. It's not that I'm trying to push new cars or anything like that. It's just it was unusual, and it's not every day you see them on the road, and I'm absolutely delighted that Andrew and the team in Slattery's Garage provided me with the opportunity to take this car out. Hopefully normal service will be resumed with sound by next week. But other than that, folks, really wish, I'd like to wish you all a huge big thank you for supporting the channel. And we're heading towards 1,000 subscribers, which is great news. So make sure and subscribe, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all again next week, folks. Bye-bye.